As fans start to pour in for tonight's Orioles game, Fox 45 is taking a closer look at the investigation into a man shot in the head right across the street from the stadium. Allegations of spying and wiretapping within Harford County government. We have an exclusive interview with County Executive Bob Castley as he responds to those allegations. And we're continuing to follow breaking news. Charges dropped against the 3 women arrested for protesting BGE's external regulator installation. What the city's state attorney is saying on the dismissal.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Excitement is building for the O's game tonight against the New York Mets, but there are some concerns about safety after police say a man was found shot dead in a gas station parking lot right across from Camden Yards. Good evening, I'm Maxine Stryker. Thanks so much for staying with us. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell has more on what she's learned about that victim and the latest on the investigation.
Baltimore police have identified this victim as 27-year-old Chris Morton. Throughout the day, friends have been stopping by this location. You can see the growing memorial in his honor. Exactly who did this and why, unclear. The case remains under investigation. Crime tape, balloons, and candles. Friends say the man found fatally shot inside an SUV in this gas station parking lot near Camden Yards was Chris Morton, a local music producer killed just 2 days before his 28th birthday.
Just to pay my respect and just, I don't know, for him to feel my energy, you know what I mean? He was a good person.
Police say they were called to this gas station on Russell Street around 2 yesterday afternoon after someone reported an SUV had crashed in the back parking lot. Investigators noticing a bullet hole in the front windshield and say inside, officers found the victim in the driver's seat with a gunshot wound to his head. He was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Who did this and why, unclear and unnerving.
I'm more upset and sad for our city to see that there's this much hate and people want greed and taking lives.
Morton's friend says he talked with the victim about an hour before he was killed, adding he was well liked and respected.
1 o'clock yesterday, I said what's up to him and he said hi to me like he does every day, and that was the last thing I ever said to him. He was probably one of the most respectful people. Very humble, very nice, didn't judge nobody.
As investigators piece together what happened, Baltimore police beefing up the department's presence. This homicide happening in the middle of the afternoon and within the city's hub for tourism. A community looking for answers and honoring a life lost.
It's just sad.
Again, sources close with this investigation saying police do believe Morton was targeted, but exactly why, unclear. Police are checking area surveillance. No suspect information has been provided. No arrests have been made. In downtown Baltimore, Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
There are concerns crime could have an impact on fan response. The Birds are #1 in the AL East, but when it comes to ticket sales, the O's are ranked 22nd out of the 30 MLB teams. That's according to baseballreference.com. Experts say while the crime could be keeping people away now, things could get better soon.
A lot of people have become accustomed to not going to downtown Baltimore. The mayor should be talking about, we care about your safety when you come to Baltimore. We take that very seriously. We're doing things to make you safer in a city that has been quite dangerous historically. The change in the air. We have a mayoral election next year. And so I really view, and this might sound naive, that Baltimore City is going to have a great renaissance later this decade.
That brings us to our question of the day. Does crime keep you from going downtown for events? So far, 97% of you who voted say yes. Head to foxbaltimore.com/vote and click on the Pulse tab to weigh in. As investigators are working a homicide down the street from Camden Yards, they'll be relying on surveillance cameras in the area to help find the shooter. But new numbers show the city's cameras may not always be working. According to a 2022 legislative report, at one point, 12% of the city's cameras were not working. The average turnaround time to fix a camera, according to the report, up to a few weeks. That turnaround time is not sitting well with residents who are concerned for their safety.
It's unfortunate. Nobody feels safe, and I think those in charge need to take a stronger look at that. They need to tap into the areas on a day-to-day basis and understand that it's dangerous and anything can happen.
Well, that report goes on to say that during a 4-year period, the camera uptime averaged 90%, meaning 10% of the time parts of the city were blacked out from camera view. The Baltimore City Council has postponed the confirmation hearing for the nomination of Richard Worley as police commissioner. The hearing was supposed to happen on August 15th. Fox 45 News is now working to find out why this postponement happened. A new hearing will be announced at a later date. According to City Council President Nick Mosby's office, Worley was nominated by Mayor Brandon Scott in June. Since then, several controversies have come to light, including where he lives and the investigation into the Brooklyn Day mass shooting.
Fox 45 is following breaking news and the charges against the women arrested for protesting BGE's construction in their neighborhood. Those charges have been dropped. In June, 3 women in Federal Hill were arrested for blocking the installation of those new external gas regulators. The installation sparked controversy citywide, with hundreds of Baltimore residents joining a class action lawsuit against BGE. In a statement today, Baltimore City State's Attorney Ivan Bates says, quote, having spent approximately 19 hours in central booking following their arrest for interfering with BGE's work and creating a disturbance in a public place, these individuals have sustained consequences we believe are sufficient and allow us to move forward with dismissal, end quote. And we're also following more breaking news. A 17-year-old is dead after being shot in the upper body and face, we're told. It happened around 3 o'clock this afternoon on Pentland Drive in the Harford Echodale neighborhood in Northeast Baltimore. Anyone with information about this should contact police or Metro Crime Stoppers.
Thank you, Kai. First on Fox, after being accused of spying on fellow politicians, Harford County's executive Bob Castley is holding his ground. Castley claims an internal investigation that involved looking at emails on county servers was both legal and allowed under Harford County policy. Fox 45's Amy Simpson has an exclusive interview with Castley from Bel Air.
Hearing directly from the county executive today after a week's worth of accusations and back and forth. Castley now calling this feud the politics of personal destruction. In Bel Air today.
It was slanderous. There was no wiretap. No wiretap took place. No attempted wiretap took place.
Harford County executive Bob Castley telling his side of the story.
This was a one-time find out what's in the emails with regard to this alleged theft of $7 million. A one-time snapshot, you look and you're done. One person looked at that and reviewed that. I was not part of that. Didn't have any part of the emails.
This week, Harford County Councilman Aaron Penman
spying on the opposite legislative branch isn't right.
Accusing Castley of spying and committing wiretap violations. Penman said he was tipped off that emails between him, the sheriff, and several others had been monitored after he made allegations the county executive misappropriated $7 million in county funds back in May.
I do not work for the county executive. I work for the constituents of District B. It's a separate branch of government. I am not an employee of the county. Therefore, he is not privy to my emails and correspondence on cell phones.
But the county executive said an internal investigation into those allegations was done by the book.
All email servers are county property and they're subject to review by county officials. So that's what was done. It was a one-time snapshot looking. They looked one time. It was one person looked. It was not an ongoing snooping of council members' stuff, but and that's it. And it was totally as allowed under the policies of the county.
Earlier this week, the Harford County Sheriff's Office said it opened an investigation after receiving a criminal complaint over the wiretap allegations. The case then shifted to the Harford County State's Attorney, but ultimately referred to the Office of the Maryland State Prosecutor.
Were you the one who authorized and asked for this internal investigation to happen after that allegation of the misappropriation?
Certainly, as a county executive, the alleged misappropriation of $7 million was immediately brought to my attention, and I certainly immediately said, okay, let's get to the bottom of this, or words to that effect. I did not micromanage that investigation. I was not aware that the emails would be reviewed. I found about that after the fact.
Harford County's council president also wading into the debate this week as the elected legislative branch of county government. My colleagues and I are not classified as employees of the Harford County administration. Council President Patrick Vincenti said, in part, our collective correspondence with constituents and legislative matters should be held in a confidential manner.
To say you're not a county employee, you get a county paycheck, you're on the county payroll, and so that's absolutely the case. that they are county employees, and they do come within the coverage of the policy.
Today, Casserly also throwing his own jabs.
I've had some strong enemies out there, and unfortunately, Councilman Penman has emerged as the lead spokesman for that development industry.
Pointing to this feud simmering over other hot-button issues entirely, coining a new phrase for the Harford County infighting.
It's sad for me to see that his chief methodology here has been the politics of personal destruction.
Casserly said he hasn't spoken to Councilman Penman this week and has no plans to.
Intense debate doesn't qualify as personal destruction. That qualifies as intense debate, and that's good for us. But when a group of folks are coming out and their intent is to push you out of office, to deprive you of your office, I'm not sure, if sitting down and discussing that with them is going to do a whole lot.
And this matter has been referred to the Maryland State Prosecutor. This week, State Prosecutor Chuck Howard tells me his office does not comment on the existence or status of any investigation. In Bel Air, Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
Well, Amy has been following this controversy since it first came to light. You can find all of her previous reporting on our website right now at foxbaltimore.com.
Donald Trump has been criminally indicted for a third time. I'm Scott Thuman in Atlanta with the latest on special counsel Jack Smith's investigation and what could come next for the former president here in Georgia.
And the countdown continues here at Fox 45. We are your back to school headquarters. Just over 3 weeks till some counties head back to school, and just over 4 weeks for others. But we've got plenty summertime weather to get through, including heat and severe weather. Planning it all out hour by hour, day by day. My Weather Authority forecast.
The race for the White House took another odd turn this week after Donald Trump found himself under arrest again, this time accused of trying to undermine the 2020 election. He pleaded not guilty on Thursday, but in some ways that's just the beginning of this legal fight as another potential indictment is looming. Sinclair's chief political correspondent Scott Thuman joins us now with the latest. Scott?
Yeah, Maxine, good evening to you. So much still to unpack and to be determined. We just don't know what the next stages will be, aside from the fact that his calendar is packing pretty quickly with court appearances and hearings that are scheduled. But that's not slowing the former president down. Appearances tonight in Alabama, later this weekend in South Carolina, as he continues to push for 2024. In a twist on Trump's lock her up attacks against Hillary Clinton, he now finds himself on the receiving end. The divide over Donald Trump's future perhaps energizing both sides.
We all witnessed what happened in the Capitol right over there. It was started because of lies that were told by Donald Trump and his cronies.
I hope he goes up another 5 points in the polls. Every time Jack Smith goes in front of the podium, Trump goes up another 4 to 6, 7 points.
Despite his latest arrest for allegedly trying to undermine the election process and prevent the transfer of power to Joe Biden, Trump's defense team painting his indictment as an attack on free speech.
Is being prosecuted by his political opponent who controls the Justice Department and is using the tools, the sacred tools of the criminal justice system, to censor a political opponent.
Ulterior motives, they claim, at play.
You know, in America, you are entitled to raise a question. You're entitled to question whether it was honest or not. So stop using government to go after people who politically disagree with you.
Trump is also waiting to hear if he'll be charged in an investigation here in Georgia over allegations he tried to reverse his 2020 loss in this state. The Fulton County District Attorney suggesting grand jury indictments could come soon. A grand jury deciding if Trump tried to force election officials there to alter the results.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Yet Trump, based on positive polls, ever defiant, posting, "I need one more indictment to ensure my election." As for his Republican primary opponents, the reaction to these latest developments really runs the gamut. You've got former Vice President Mike Pence and Chris Christie saying that this should mean the end of Trump's ability to run for the White House again. But then you also hear from people like Vivek Ramaswamy, who say that he would pardon the former president if he wins that election. Maxine?
And Scott, any idea on when we might see a decision on that Georgia case?
No, we don't know. No one has really tipped a hand as far as when that may come down, that decision. But there's a lot still to be kind of played out. In fact, we're just, 2.5 weeks away from the first scheduled primary debate. We also don't know if Donald Trump's going to attend that. So we're just kind of in a wait and watch mode here.
All right, Scott Thuman, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
You got it.
The temperature of the world's oceans soared to their highest level ever this week. The average surface temperature hit 69.7 degrees Fahrenheit at the end of July, beating a record last set in 2016. And scientists warn it won't cool anytime soon. They're also warning the unprecedented heat can disrupt complex ecosystems, killing marine life, causing a rise in sea levels. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the warming we've seen in the past year is equal to what we usually see over 15 years.
All right, on the Fox Triplecast are in fact below average temperatures continue around here. Temperatures around 80 this afternoon. Some filtered sun now on the Toyota Sooner Harbor Skycam and Mile 1000 cam. Next weather maker moving in with a round of thunderstorms off to our north. Even a severe thunderstorm warning just north of Carroll County up into Pennsylvania. And that nasty looking cell there with lots of lightning. It's moving pretty quickly south. So maybe Carroll County getting in line with some of this, with a potential some heavy rain and some gusty winds. You probably see the clouds billowing in the distance right now. Some showers down to the south. Those impacted us last night into early this morning with some drizzle. That continues to move east. But again, part 2 coming for this evening. Really north of Baltimore. That's our marginal or 1 of 5 risk of severe weather. It's kind of the leftovers of Some rowdy storms that have been up in Pennsylvania continue to drift on south. Damaging winds, maybe some brief heavy rain, the biggest threat out of these. And this evening, again, the biggest threat of severe weather is to our north, but we're just on the edge. So for the Orioles game, there could be a stray shower, maybe even a rumble towards the end of the game. We'll have to keep that in mind, but I don't think it's going to have significant impacts on the game. This stuff should be weakening as it moves southbound. This pair of weather makers shifting off the coast. Humid heat down to the south and west. I mean, temperatures into the hundreds, near 100 right now at Oklahoma City, 104 at Dallas, 111 at Phoenix, 98 in New Orleans. We are on the cooler corner of the country, and it looks like that's not going to last. I think we are going to start heating up a little bit, not like the south, but maybe near 90 over the weekend. 82 right now, feels like 84 with a beautiful look on the Toyota Ishida Harbor Skycam. Latest Future Scan computer model does put some of those showers and storms in the forecast north, northeast, and northwest of the city through about 8, 9 o'clock. By about 9 or 10, as the game is ending here in Baltimore, I think we could see a shower, maybe a rumble, but these, again, should be on the waning trend. By about midnight, most of it's gone. And it looks like it's a lot quieter into tomorrow morning with some patchy fog and some leftover clouds. Now, if you do get one of these cells coming through, could see a quarter, maybe half inch of rain here in Baltimore. Not a whole lot, just a few hundredths of an inch on this computer model. We could use some. We're in a moderate drought in Baltimore, and actually this area that gets some of the red, or some of the green, I should say, actually in a severe drought. So we could use some of that rain. I'll let you know if there is more in the exclusive 10-day forecast in a couple of minutes.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
The woman in this United States Postal Service truck was not hurt as storms hit northern Alabama last night. The powerful winds took down scores of trees, however, injuring at least 10 other persons. The heavy rains flooded roads in several counties, leaving many cars stranded. Some areas received up to 7 inches of rainfall. At least the weather there looks much calmer this weekend.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on TikTok.
On tonight's Assignment America, this record-breaking heat across the U.S. isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and it may be having somewhat of an impact on crime rates. Monique Lopez from our Sinclair sister station in Austin, Texas, has the story.
This dangerous heat is no joke and has had an impact on everything from homes to roads and even crime.
There was a study that was done where they found when the temperature was averaging around 80 degrees, which means that during the day it was actually going up to like 95 or so, the incidence of violent crime or violence actually increased to 20%. So it points to there being a direct correlation with that.
That correlation between the two, criminal justice instructor Jeanette Arpero says, can be explained by what's called the heat hypothesis.
And that just generally means that heat induces like physiological symptoms of discomfort, frustration, aggression, which can therefore increase the possibility of like conflict or violence.
As the heat rises and people begin experiencing those feelings, Schroeder says the body goes into flight or fight mode, making some react in ways they maybe wouldn't have otherwise.
Their bodies are more stressed. Their cognitive function declines. That leads to more confusion, more irritability. They're more likely to kind of do something that's regrettable.
When it's this hot, people tend to roll down their car windows, and that, experts say, allows for more opportunities to burglarize. Experts say the heat hypothesis, combined with other things that come along with summer, like more alcohol use and social gatherings, can be a recipe for that kind of disaster.
All of those things just kind of put together creates a volatile situation for all types of violent crime, to include mass shootings.
Here in Austin, from December of 2021 to March of 2022, or winter months, the Austin Police Department reported 22,957 crimes against persons, crimes against property, and crimes against society. That went up to more than 24,000 from June 2022 to September 2022.
Exclusive 10-day forecast. The heat builds around here for tomorrow, up near 90 degrees. We'll see an afternoon shower or thunderstorm or two, really more so late in the day, I think, on Sunday. Most of the day should be rain-free. 89. Better risk of some showers and storms. We are on the potential outlook for weather alert on Monday. We'll have to see over the weekend how that evolves, but the afternoon could be rough. Leftover shower or storm. Cooler on Tuesday, near 90, though, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all the way well into next weekend.
And finally tonight, the Maryland Zoo has welcomed a new addition to its family. Take a look at this. The zoo sharing this video of its brand new northern ground hornbill chick. The zoo says the chick's parents have been together for more than a decade, and this is their first baby together. That's all for Fox 45 News at 6. Family Feud is next. We'll see you again tonight at 10. Have a great night.